Greetings, folks. Another week begins. We have another stream starting. Hope everyone had a good weekend and is doing well. Give my usual beginning and end speech. You're watching From the Tomes here on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, feel free to go over and search YouTube, Fox and More Games. We're going to be having exclusive content coming there. We've already got a few videos there that are YouTube only. And if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to go over and jump on the Twitch stream and subscribe so you can follow along when I come on live and I do some work in chat. And then Wednesday nights I do a topical chat called Tavern Chat, in which I throw out a topic and the finest minds in gaming bring in on this topic, or at least people who watch my channel, who are the finest minds in gaming, of course. So, Twitter and Facebook, Fox and Board Games, and of course foxandboardgames.com for all of the updates and info, which reminds me I've got to write a blog post this week. I try to do a weekly update. At least one a week. At least one a week for now. I think it's going to be a lot more as our season rolls on. So what are we doing today? We had our... So as people who've been following this know, did a massive amount of writing and revision in the past months. Rules updates, mostly to the character creation section and related rules, such as the magic, this character skills, the gifts, which are your superpowers, basically, whatever feats in D&D or Pathfinder, or class abilities in those games, or in other games, whatever abilities your character gets that make them superhuman, more effective than human, more human than human. And we had a sit down last night with 3 players who have, 2 of which haven't seen this much of the content. It went fairly well. It's time to open up some documents and take a review. See where I'm at with that. Found some typos and errors. Maybe I'll work on fixing some of those errors today, like on the character creation sheet. That's why we do this, so people can look at it and go, "Oh, you forgot this. Gee, thanks." I'm not saying "gee, thanks" sarcastically. I'm saying it honestly, because that's why we do this. So I guess I'll have to open up that Illustrator file again. My favorite thing in the world. I better plug my auxiliary drive in to make sure I have enough memory to open, enough scratch disk space. It's not as intensive as Photoshop, necessarily. It's good to have the additional lot allocation. Illustrator up and running. use Illustrator? Yeah, I used Illustrator for this. Where is it? Huh, it's not in my recent files. I guess we'll have to put it in my recent files, right? Kind of throwing some polls out. As most people all know, most of my training academically is in photography and related media. How many people would be interested in if I did a side channel for photo and graphic design and whatnot? And everybody was like, well, maybe you could do that on YouTube. I'll think about it. If I'm sitting there for 2 hours working on photos, just throw a live stream up on YouTube and talk about what I'm doing. Some say I know what I'm doing with that. Well, somebody thinks so. All joking aside, yeah, I'm pretty... I guess they're InDesign. I made them in InDesign. I think because of the output capability in InDesign was a little stronger than Illustrator. Alright, well, I'll shut down Illustrator then. I thought it was the opposite. I thought I did the other layout in InDesign. Sheet, interactive character sheet. Let's do the print template first. So as usual, I'll throw it out there that I find only about 10% of my viewers, as I get the stream results at the end, only about 10% subscribe and interact with the channel. And obviously, it's your time. Do what you like with it. But if you really like what I'm doing, feel free to follow the button. Hit the follow button. If you really like it, you can subscribe. Though I haven't quite got to work on character rewards yet for subscription. I hope to do that. Yeah, look at that. I'm missing a skill. All right, guess we'll share that. And feel free to say hi if you're out there watching. Or not. Again, I'm not a high pressure person. Whichever you would like to do. Like and subscribe, channel, work, share. Okay. InDesign. So there we go. That's what I'm working on. Exciting, huh? Just gonna put all this info up on that monitor. Uh-oh. This is the time period where animals think they're about to eat because they're about to get cat bombed. I heard a conspicuous chirp from somewhere near me. I know you're all just tuning in for the cat action there. Looking. So, fortunately, that's not too difficult of an addition. I guess better look that up. Alright, forgot the rituals skill. Rituals is something I added towards the end of the revisions, which I knew it had to be there. And it's going to be a pain. But anyway. Rituals. And this is what? Size 12 point. I believe it's a mind skill. Let me go look that up. Maybe it's power. I need to actually use the ritual's mind. So it was an interesting character creation session. Not a single combat focused character, and in fact I think only one character has any skill and a combat ability. So we're going to see how that goes. I mean, it's not a combat heavy game necessarily in terms of what has to be done. Like I for the most part, made a scenario which I said you can only expect about 25% of it to involve any kind of combat. It's not like D&D where you necessarily stage combats as a main event. It's much more, this scenario especially is much more social interaction oriented. Having said that, I was surprised that so few people have any combat ability. I guess I should make a step-by-step for magic casting too. That's right, assisted casting and rituals. Here we go. Mind. Yep, it is mind. Okay. And that's where that 9-point font's coming from. Have to align these a little bit better. So we've got 3 characters so far in the playtest. A character who is primarily a witch, that is skilled in the magic discipline of witchcraft, which we have not tested anything in yet. And we have a rogue-ish sort. Who is kind of like Varys from Game of Thrones with a collection of followers that they're going to use to get information. And the last is a sort of dubious brewer slash concoctor, snake oil salesman sort of character who uses their skills, and then a little bit of augmentation of magic to manipulate wealthy people, control wealthy people, get information from wealthy people. So it's a really interesting group of characters. None of the typical tropes that you generally think of in these games, you know, in a fantasy game. Now, how it's all going to work together remains to be seen. But I think it'll be interesting. All the character ideas are good. It'll be interesting in this scenario, which is a largely interaction-based, social interaction-based scenario. Alright, this is the print version, I believe. Yes, print version. So I've updated the character sheet once I realized, or was pointed out to me last night, that I was missing the ritual skill. Might be necessary for characters that can cast rituals. Of course I realize, let's see. It's mostly aligned. Again, this is all still very rough draft form. It's nice having character sheets there. So this is just one basic edit. File, watch part. So just save this as a PDF. I really thought I had this one in Illustrator. Apparently not. So the character creation session, the one thing that I did enjoy is that everybody pretty much said, well, it looks like once I actually know how to make a character and what the moving parts of the game all do, it'll be really fast to make a character. And once you have your concept down. And that's something I was really shooting for. You know, I want the complexity to come in the choices, not in the minutia of the rules. Of course, then they looked at the 60 pages worth of GIFs and were like, wow, that's like a lot. You know, that was my whole joke throughout the night, is that once you start introducing those concepts like supernatural powers and magic, it just gets so out of hand. And when you had this nice streamlined system beforehand, you know, you can be absolutely assured it's not going to remain as streamlined or easy once you introduce those elements. And that's still going to be challenging. Alright, so we'll do the same thing here. Shrink that one down. Got the interactive character sheet going on now. Why is this sheet is missing a... Well, and that's a blinding anyway, because it looks like this interactive sheet is missing an input box. Well, okay. Again, this is why we're doing all this. I haven't even yet passed any of this through an editor. And once an editor gets a hold of a lot of this, I'll probably have a lot more revisions. Alright. Save that out. We'll get to looking at some rules and maybe the scenario. So my next big step, of course, is to write up as much of the scenario as I can. There we go. Nice fillable character sheet. The wonders of modern technology. As if the wonders of modern technology don't crash on me. Oh, I think I need to export one more thing. Yes, okay, save that. The print. Export that as JPEGs. Finished, and then JPEGs. Yes, apply to all. Overwrite it, thank you. Cool. I think that is it for InDesign. Double check to see if automatically updated the quick start guide. That I did in Illustrator. Automatically update the document and put in rituals. Yes, it did. Great. I think there was one typo on here too. Something that was not as it should have been. So yeah, Lucra and Glory should be later. I think we determined that. Because it should come after gifts. Because your gifts and your skills influence it. So probably... right before money. Of course. Or not. No, don't select that, please. I guess I'll have to do them one at a time. Alright. Now I should be able to safely grab those. There we go. Oh, it took 3 tries. Because I never really considered myself a graphic designer, even though I've done it professionally. I did web design, which incorporated a lot of graphic design professionally. But it's definitely come in handy. Because there was a lot of confusion, because Lucra is calculated after certain other things. And people are like, well, why is that there when I have to still determine my skills and gifts? Good question. Because I didn't think of it. Alright, cool. Guess I might as well put that out as the PDF for now. Well, I was just trying to do a save as. File, save as, and the finished. Character, finished. Quick creation guide. Huh. Some updates, apparently, to my Adobe. A little bit different elements on the interface. Boy, they really want you to buy into that cloud and save stuff there, don't they? No thanks. Alright. People found the quick creation guide extremely helpful. Like I said, I think I'm going to have to do something like that for the magic system. And I guess that's going to be the start of a reference guide or DM's guide or reference or Game Master screen. One of those things. One of those things we all love so much as gamers. Actually, to review the Magic rules. It's been a couple months now since we've played it. To really review augmentation, because I haven't really used that a lot. That came in at the very end of the last set of play tests that I kind of coming up with the augmentation rules, magical focus and such. That's right. Augmentations are things that are already in the world, such as a standing stone ring that when you cast a certain type of magic in it, it's enhanced, or water from a sacred pool that helps augment. Whereas a focus is something that's specific to you that increases your skill. Did I say magical focus or magical device in the rules? It always impresses me when someone has an encyclopedic rules memory for a game they're running, because I've written this game and I still sit there and go, what? Now, what did I say in that chapter that I wrote 8 months ago? That's not something we use all the time. That's not the section I want. The section I want is the gifts. Which reminds me, I also have to upload some updates to the folders on the skills and gifts document. That's right. I need the gifts document now. I had about a dozen documents open last night during the playtest. Or during the character creation. Chapters, gifts, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Supernatural gifts. Weird distortion going on there in the work share screen. Some weird stretching. That's more like it. More breathing room. Shows off my fancy title screen there as well. Magic device. Okay, that's what I call it. Magic device is the name of the gift. But then it allots either an augmentation. Or a focus. I think the beginning of the next section is going to be an overview not only of the rules, but a huge section is going to be reviewing magic. Alright, so now I go back to that. Now, looking over this, I'm like, wow, yeah, there's going to be a lot to edit. A lot coming down the pike to edit, but that's why this is work. I'll use the corny old saying, if it were easy, everybody would do it. Which is largely true in life. If I should actually just do this as a PDF, since it was a PDF, and send it out through email. The Magic Systems document. I guess I should also review the divination rules. Great idea, right? But divination in a game. What's going to go wrong with that? Nothing can be more complicated than that, right? Why? How easy could that? How difficult could that be? I do kind of enjoy some of the things that 5th Ed has done with these spells that used to be formerly really abstract. You know, like augury and stuff, where you're kind of just like looking at it like, you know, or as I've talked about when reviewing some of the earlier White Wolf stuff, when we were looking at Vampire, you know, some of those abilities were just like, yeah, it's pretty much whatever the game master, you know, kind of wants you to do. Thanks. I mean, what, you know, talk about stressful. I think I have to actually remove that gift document out of there. Remove that skills document. And upload the new ones while I'm thinking about it. magic, witchcraft. Cheat sheet document is... Oh, I did have a magic cheat sheet document. Huh. Well, there you go. Probably has to be updated. Magic systems document. Oh, yeah, that was recently updated. Rituals documents there. Character creation. Let's see. There we go. Let's take a look at that magic cheat sheet document. Magic cheat. Rules. Should actually just do a quick start system document when we sit down next time. Actually, let's undo that. It's all Control A, hitting delete, and then saving and closing the program. Fix any formatting issues you have. Oh, that's interesting. It'll definitely clear out the format issues. Let's see. Common actions. I'm going to reread that section. So rereading it, I just confused myself. Alright, major augmentation routes, one dial. So. Mission must be verified. Hold right verse to say, holding up the staff, correct direction, face, and walk the stand down. Monument, etc. Forgotten etc. there. Can't forget those etc. Alright. I was going to clarify what I was writing. I'm like, well, yeah, okay, I guess I already clarified it there. So I don't need to be silly and clarify it again. But I probably should upload this updated document to the drive. Take a look at this magic cheat sheet. It's a cheat sheet about magic. It's not a magic cheat sheet, unfortunately. Some people have been watching me, have been seeing me just kind of slowly but surely build up stuff. But I think now that the playtest has started again, you're going to see a lot of typing and a lot of changing of things. All right, so magic system. That's what I want to update into Google Drive. The official playtest documents. Of course, once that's formatted correctly, I will probably dump it all out to a PDF. A few viewers in here. Hello, everybody. I see that the afternoon slots get a little more play than the 11 to 1 slot. Friday night was really bouncing. Had a few new people in. People who I know but just haven't made it onto a stream yet were able to come on Friday night for a little bit. I know it's all, hit and miss as to when people have time free, but what I might do is start doing a few more evening streams. I might move tomorrow's daytime stream up to an evening stream. 7:30 to 9:30 or something like that. What was I looking at? Playtest documents. That's right. Corruption, casting magic. So I guess I should put in something about the foci. I'm not going to bother with assisted casting. That's this whole other system where it's like group casting and ritual casting is like this whole other thing. I had forgotten. Well over a year ago, I wrote up a bunch of magic rituals for the game, but I never had a system in play for it. And then earlier in the year, I think around May or April, I was like, oh, maybe I better write a system for that. Let's see. Yeah, might be. Have another evening. What's weird though, Tuesday mornings, at least over the summer, I was getting a lot of people. I think they were maybe college, both either professors or students, because it was a varying group of people. I picked up a lot of people, but it's definitely the Tuesday slot has definitely slacked off since then. So here's my rituals. I only have a few. No, this is the kind of thing I was really hoping that players, once the game really gets rolling, will start coming up with some. Okay, this one summons a dragon. Oops. Tee hee hee. Not really. It's summons a symbolic dragon. A worm, specifically. Yes, there are dragons in this world. But they are more like mythical and ancient world concepts of dragons than D&D dragons, necessarily. And they're more serpentine than large lizards. Oh, so I guess I came up with a few rituals, huh? Yeah, I'll have to revisit those. Alright, so let's go back to the cheat sheet. My joke endures that if you're watching me work on this, you're pretty much watching me look on Google and flip through documents most of the time. It's 90% of the time that I spend on this thing. Decided or declared. Spent some more time in the basement getting it somewhat in shape, Blake. Hopefully I'll see how it weatherproofs over the next couple months, next month or two. Maybe I'll move it as streaming in there, have my own little studio. I know something you suggested and other people have suggested. 1 path, minor effect, 3 path. Foci augmentations. Take a really quick break. I'll be back in a moment. Yeah, Blake. Obviously, the garage would be better, but yeah, that requires so much more. Even with a little bit of work done in the basement, I mean, it wasn't a little bit of work. It was renovating the basement. It's now the humidity is pretty much stabilized. We still run the dehumidifier when it gets really humid, but temperature is even stabilized. I mean, it's not far away from actually being a usable room now. There's still a lot of storage in there, but we could probably arrange it so that there is a space for a desk or something like that. I have to see how it holds up through the winter because I think it'll still get really cold. And I could get the heat run in there, but again, we're kind of at the point where we're not really looking to spend a huge amount more right this second. So we'll see. Again, that's been kind of the joke since we moved in. We've been spending so much just on these kind of necessary renovations. We've barely gotten to do kind of like fun stuff. But let's see. That was the whole reason that we made, one of the thoughts in buying this house was, oh, we'll be able to set up the basement. We had started doing it after we moved in, and then it started flooding, like whenever we got rain. And that's why it really hasn't been utilized. But now, hopefully, we'll be able to set something up in there. I think I even changed that, didn't I? Go back to the character creation document. Character creation. Oh, actually, the gifts document. Is that open? Yes. Yes, that's right. I lowered the cost of magic initially, but you can't automatically cast at every level now. Now you do need a certain path rating to cast at a level. Now you could buy a focus that'll temporarily, that when you use it, you spend essence, it will temporarily increase your path rating. But the problem with that is then you're spending essence while you're trying to cast magic. So, but it's an option. It's an option you can use. It's funny, Mel really liked the idea of corruption, like how you use corruption in this game. Like the more you use it, the more powerful you get, but you quickly start deteriorating, and she actually thought that was really interesting. Like her character probably won't use a lot, but I was like, yeah, I think that's one of the things that makes the game a little more unique. Okay, so. Wow, I haven't updated the magic system document in a while. I saw a lot of old stuff in here. Yeah, and just judging and I know we're in an area where things are really expensive, but what it ended up costing to proof the basement. And yeah, we had the whole gutter and trench, French drain system done, but it probably won't cost any less to do the garage, to get it done properly. And again, I'm beyond trying to do it and making it half half-assed. Do I give you 4 points? Magic. One single form. Maybe I did still keep 4 points. Oh, so I did keep it as 4 points. And 4 points to spend in that form. Okay. Dabbler, I reduced the amount of points. I'll have to double check Justin and Diana's character and make sure. Because Justin's got the Dabbler trait. It's the first time we'll see it used. It'll be interesting. So he can do a little bit of magic, but not as much as. You're working on the game, Blake? D&D? Cool. Yeah, well, that's how it always is. And again, like I was saying to the group last night, I'm like, yeah, I'm estimating this will be, if we play like 3 solid hours at a game session, I'm estimating this will be 4 to 5 game sessions, where it is entirely possible that we can get to the end of the 3rd game session and they've gotten through a quarter of the story so far. So again, and also the more people you add, the more it mushrooms. And I had that conversation last night too, that where it's too bad that for whatever reason people aren't making it to the in-person game. It's like 3 people. 3 people's a little slim, but it's much more manageable than 6 or 7. Like, one more person for the in-person game would be cool. And I even thought about asking my friend Wendy, who comes over and does bagpipes. She's a lifelong gamer too. And she said, like, kind of like what we were saying, that her one group is pretty much just now about getting together and cooking and sitting around and chatting and gaming a little bit. And while she likes that because they're all friends of hers, she's like, I kind of really want to game. She's our age, so she's kind of in that same zone that we are. And she does a lot of different stuff. So like when she takes 4 hours out to game, it's like a big deal. So I'm thinking about talking to the group and seeing if they would mind if I asked her. I have no idea how she can commit. Like I said, she does a lot of other stuff. She does a lot of live music. She does, she has a kid, the whole 9 yards. So it's, again, the only hazard is she might be cause she's a good gamer. She's friends with both of us. She knows Justin too. But it's like, then yet another person whose schedule is really difficult. It's like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it. Like I said, I kind of like the idea of having a smaller group to deal with for now. Some gifts. All right, where's that document? There it is. I'm actually working on. Focine augmentation. 5 is enough. Like I think 5's a good number because like for the 1 week that only 2 of us are going to be gone, you can still do something. 3 is a little rough. Like Neil has the open house that night, but so yeah, that kind of bites it for that week. But the other week, you guys can definitely still do something with 3 people. Yeah, like I said, I know there's a couple of the local folks who have said, "Oh, I've really wanted to play. If you get any openings, let me know." But they're not like really active gamers. It's like they've gamed on and off, and they've gamed in high school or college or whatever, or they're curious about it. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I mean that's an open house at night. That's a real thing. That's like, all right, whatever. But yeah, it was if we were here and he just couldn't do his open house, we could just play or whatever. But 3 people down in a 5-person group's a little rough. But yeah, like the couple other people who have over in the past year or two, when they saw that we had a gaming group, have kind of hinted that they'd like to play. I'm like, yeah, but again, I want people who are actually going to prioritize it and show up at this stage, especially with this playtest. Like if we were going to run D&D every 2 weeks, I'd be like, whatever, show up or don't. But for this, I don't want it to be, well, yeah, if I got nothing better to do, I'll make it when everybody else makes it a commitment. It's like all those memes that are like, oh, getting together, the D&D group is this hard, or, make those jokes. I'm like, well, people have to decide that's what they want to do with their free time. Not they heard it's cool and they want to try it, but they're not really that interested in it. Actually, add some more stuff now. You know what I say? have to spend an augmentation to do, or spend a essence to do that. Enlarge a little bit. All right, sounds good. Yeah, that's what I had last night. Yeah, I want to run for another half hour or so, I think, today. I guess I should actually put the numeric benefits in. Oh, that's why I said that. It's funny when I second guess myself without reading the whole document. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, I did already clarify that. Okay, so I think we're getting it all together. A magic cheat sheet, which is 3 pages of cheat sheet. Let's say a magic simplification of the system. Magic reference guide. Let's rename it to reference guide. About to get cat bombed. For anybody who's still watching, it's that time of the day. They're convinced they're about to starve to death. Didn't like that. Alright, I'm going to be pushing magic section here. Now he's decided he wants to come up on his terms. Because he's a cat. Cat, stop. You're being nudgy. Stop, cat. The big issue was wording. I thought I had really made this heavy-handed. Like, wow, did I really make it that severe? This penalty that severe? No, I just worded it in such a way that it wasn't clear. Each failure was one level of damage. Alright, I think most of the revisions I was shooting for today, at least the things that were in my head from last night, I did have notes, and some of the players took notes for me of things that I had to kind of revisit and take a look at to make clear. Clearer. Just make sure of gifts. Close the gift document. Magic system, I think, is going to remain open. Cut out the flavor text on the reference guide. Character sheets. Reference guide. So just upload the whole character sheet document to there. That'll be the way to do it. See. I think that's it for today. Listing magic. All right, thanks for tuning in. For all of you that are out there lurking, if you like what you see today, please hit the follow button. We're also open for subscriptions. I've got to get some content for subscribers together. This is from the Tomes, from Fox and Board Games, working on Tales of the Hard Land after our first playtest this week. If you're on Twitch, you know where to find me. If you are not on the YouTube channel, if you want to head over there and subscribe to the YouTube channel, there'll be some additional YouTube content coming in that is exclusive. If you're on YouTube and you're seeing this, come on over to Twitch. We have work streams, we have open chat streams, topical chat streams on Wednesday nights, and some other stuff that'll be coming down the pike. So obviously you can find everything about the game I'm working on and other games, foxandboardgames.com, and Twitter and Facebook at Fox and Board Games. And I wouldn't be doing this without everybody who's been tuning in and subscribing and following along. And I really appreciate it. It's a great experience to be able to share my ideas and learn from other gamers that come on and get feedback, and just enjoy chatting about games, gaming, relating into whatever, music, movies, whatever else we decide to chat about while I'm on here. So thanks a lot. I'll be on at some point tomorrow. I haven't decided if I'm going to do maybe an evening stream or if I'm going to stick with my morning slot. Maybe I'll do one more week of the morning slot and see how it goes. And then I'll do 2 streams. Maybe I'll come on for an hour or so in the morning and then a little bit longer at night. See how it goes. Thanks a lot.